and thank you for asking for this session. I am quite delighted that many of you are into writing. How many of you like to write? How many of you like to write stories? How many of you read stories? Okay. So this particular session is a very focused session. Now we will be recording this because there are only few of you, and we didn't want to have the entire group because not everybody writes stories or may want to write stories. Okay, they may not be interested, but also then you can share it later with your friends. I don't know everybody's names, but you'll have to forgive me on that and tell me your names. Okay. We'll begin the session straight out. But before we go, this is a session focused on plot. Okay. But before we come to plot, I want to ask you, what are the elements of a story? What are the aspects? What makes a story a story? What are the things in it?
The main theme of the story.
Theme?
It might have a moral.
Might have a moral?
The characters, protagonist and antagonist.
There's a protagonist and an antagonist. Interesting. Very good. Okay.
Plot twist?
Huh?
Plot twist. A good plot.
A plot.
Yeah, plot.
Okay.
A good ending or a cliffhanger.
A good ending
Or a cliffhanger.
or a cliffhanger. Okay.
A good title.
A title.
Yes.
Attractive title. What are the other aspects of a story?
Good grammar.
Oh yeah, language.
Right.
Connecting with the reader.
Okay. Now we are moving into the subtler dimensions. Okay. What's your name?
Satwik.
Okay, Satvik. You mentioned antagonist and protagonist. You understand what that means? What or who? I'm using the word what also. Who or what is a protagonist?
The main
character.
Main character. So, my question, before we come to the actual session. Hero and protagonist is the same thing? Oh,
No.
such a quick, yeah.
No.
They're not
See,
the
a
same.
protagonist is basically the characters in which the story revolves around.
Okay.
Storytelling about.
Okay, so according to you, protagonist is the central character.
Sometimes it might be the same.
A
Some-
group of characters can also be a protagonist.
Can you give an example?
Like for example, in the cartoons, in like Tom and Jerry are the protagonists.
Okay,
Even
good,
an object
good.
can be a protagonist.
Yeah.
So,
You have to come up with your names also.
a hero is not the protagonist. It can be a protagonist. Your protagonist can be a hero, but it can be a villain, it can be just a normal person.
It can be an object
It can be a
also.
student, a teacher.
Very good. Can you give me an example? Very nice. It's lovely responses. But can you give me an example?
It might even be
A car.
It can also be anything like an eraser too.
It can be
revolve around an eraser.
Eraser.
Anything.
An object.
Yes, any of.
Okay.
Like for object, there's this show called Death Note where it revolves around an object called a diary.
Yeah.
Okay. Heard of this novel called The Girl with the Pearl Earring?
No.
Hey, have you ever heard of something, a novel called Wuthering Heights? You heard of it? How many of you have at least heard of Wuthering Heights? Yeah, you know who wrote it? Not Charlotte, Emily Bronte, her sister. Okay. Anyway, we will not go into that because you wouldn't have read that kind of literature. But Heathcliff is one of the, I would say, protagonists perhaps. But then if you had read the novel, we would have discussed who is the protagonist. Is it a person or is it a house? Wuthering Heights, the title of the novel, is actually the name of a house. Then there is a novel written by Jane Austen called Mansfield Park. Imagine the title of the story is a house. Yeah? Okay. So it can be a thing, it can be a person, and so you are distinguishing between a hero and a protagonist. Now this is not a session on characterization. This is a session on plot, but I'm just kind of setting the tone so that then we reach the plot. So what's the difference? Very quickly, somebody sum up. What's the difference between a hero and a protagonist? Arey, guess karo. Is there a difference? Are they the same? Are they different?
The hero and the protagonist can be the same at some stories and also be different.
Okay.
It depends on the story.
The protagonist can also be the villain.
Yes.
Yeah. If
So
the story is based
I
on-
would really love it if you, when you're giving me your answers, very good answers, very beautiful answers, if you can also give me some examples, that would be really lovely. Of course, I see that most of your examples are coming from TV shows and stuff like that, but chalega. Okay, right, you're right. You've given that. Okay. What's your name?
Arvind. In the book Ravan from AMIS, Ravan is actually the protagonist, but he's really cruel and
Is he portrayed as cruel in the book itself?
yes, actually he's portrayed as very cruel and bad, but you also see the good side to him, and also how Ram looks from his perspective, because you can't complete a story until you know both sides.
Well, you can, but it's always good to. In fact, you'll hardly find a story which is utterly balanced. It's not a. That's what makes it. So you can fret over the biases of the author. Okay. Now, yes, please.
Didi, a protagonist can also be an idea or a dream, where the whole story is based upon many people achieving the dream.
Lovely. Can you give an example?
Exactly, Didi, I don't exactly have it. I watched a recent movie.
Yeah, okay.
So it's about this guy, he just wants to get into army. It's about his whole life, all his, what he's done in his life to achieve the main goal. And the main goal is
So the idea, the concept. You know, when I was teaching in a school, and I had both CBSE sections and IB sections. And IB is an international baccalaureate board, and there you do a lot of very intense literature. So I was teaching also the CBSE section, and I asked them to take up 2 novels because I get very bored teaching only this. So one, we gave them the play, Ibsen's play Doll's House, and the second I said choose. You know what they chose? The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Anybody who's read it here? Oh, you're just the age. You've read it in the... Great. Okay. You must read it, your age. Okay. It's based around the idea how when you want to do something deeply, then the universe conspires to help you. And all this very... I would say romantic notions. Romantic, not the Hindi movie romantic, but the, otherworldly, idealistic notions. So, very interesting. So, there the idea is very interesting. Huh? So,
the whole story revolves around the idea.
Yeah. He's chasing a dream. He's chasing that.
It
So,
can not only be one character, it can be a whole group.
yes, all of them chasing a dream. Very, very good. Lovely responses. Now, when we put this in perspective, now we come to today's session, okay, which is on plot. I have only one question, and you please raise your hands if you can answer it. What is the difference between story and plot? Googly or what? Everybody's quiet. How come all of you are Saket?
I think a story is something that is just made up, but then the plot is something that makes the story a story.
Story is made up, plot is made up.
No, I'm just saying. The
So,
plot is something
story-
that makes the story a story.
What do you mean by that? You'll need to explain.
Without a plot, a story is not very nice.
So I am asking you a very simple question. What's the difference between story and plot? Yeah, Aryan, hang on. Let's hear.
So a story can have a different meaning than just the plot. So now
Different meaning.
a story can sum up the meaning of a few sentences or what someone wants to tell. Now plot is only a part of the thing that takes the meaning out.
Okay, let's have a few other responses. Okay, Satvik, right?
We did the show called One Piece. The story is to find the story is to find a treasure called One Piece.
Okay.
So that's the One Piece. So it was the One Piece.
Yeah.
But the characters do something else in the plot. The characters do something else that's like helping people, serving the needy and all.
Come on, you're still beating about the bush. I want you to give me a crisp answer as to what's the difference between story and plot. What's your name?
Yogesh.
Yogesh.
The story is built around the plot. Plot is the main thing, and story is connected from the plot. It takes away like.
Okay, Maya.
Doesn't every story have a plot?
Are you asking me a question? Is
A story
I am asking
needs
you.
a-
I am the one who's asking. I asked the question first. So is that a rhetorical answer or rhetorical question? What is the difference between story or plot?
I feel a story.
I could
is
actually
made-
answer that question, but I'm not doing it right now.
Okay. A story is made of a plot, isn't it? What is the story?
So what's the
without
difference?
any content?
So then what's the difference between plot and story? That's my question.
You could say the.
What's your name?
Sai.
Sai Tejas.
You could say the plot is the root of the tree, and then the story is the tree, which you add on. You give it water, you give it sunlight, you give it basically grammar, give it different romance, adventure.
Beautiful analogy. But a root is not seen.
Yes.
But are you saying it's the subtle undercurrent?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, wait. Sai Tejas, you and I have to have a talk.
So I think a story can be told in 3 sentences.
Okay,
You
great.
can tell a story about a person in 3 sentences.
Okay, great.
But a plot is structured. It has a pattern. There is a
Beautiful.
lot of-
What is your name?
Reva.
Reva, yes, of course. Sorry, you have to forgive me, no, if I don't remember names. You'll forgive me for that, yeah. Beautiful Reva. She is the one who's answered the question. Say it again.
So a story can be told in 3 sentences. You can talk about a person's life with 5 sentences, 3 sentences, 2 words. But a plot is structured. There's a pattern to it. There's a lot to talk about.
Lovely. Very good, perfect answer. All of you are near it. So let's because we are talking plot today. We are not talking story, we are not talking character, we are not talking theme, we are not talking genre. We're going to have fun today. Okay, maybe this is not the best way of beginning. I would have loved to have a session on characterization, but that's something I'd love to do in Pondicherry on the beach. So if you people all go, make sure I'm there. I'll actually do a session, real life. To come back. So Reva is quite right. She is saying you can tell the story in 2 sentences, but the plot is the structure. It's the skeletal, maybe not the root, but the skeletal on which the thing stands. So to give an example, the king died and the queen died. That's the story.
How did the queen?
The queen died because the king died. That's your plot. Because that is putting a sequence. I'm also giving you a reason. I'm putting it very, very simply. Right? So the story you can sum up in 1 word. Okay? That this is the well, not 1 word. You can in 2-3 sentences. Okay? This is what happened. But then how? We were, I think, talking to people about murder mysteries and mysteries, and so it's very simple. I mean, murder happens on a train. Okay, and the person escapes. That's your story. But how?
But the plot is.
And then what do you get to see first?
Reasonings is story plot.
Do all stories, are they chronological? Chronological, you understand? In terms of sequence of time?
Yes.
Are all stories like that?
Not all stories.
Suppose it's the story of your life. Now you are what? 13?
14.
Okay, boss. 14. Okay. So you're 14. So suppose you are writing your story. Okay. Now, where will you begin your story? Are you going to begin it when you were born, the first wah, wah, wah cry? Are you going to begin now where will you begin your story?
We can start any.
Are you going to begin? Are you going to begin when you are 5 years old, when you are 7 years old, when you in your 14th birthday, your 5th birthday? It's the story of your life. How are you going to sequence it?
You can start it now and then you can take the time.
Yeah, you can do a flashback.
But we
Yes.
make sure that everything is covered.
Maybe. Do you need to cover everything?
That's when the story is
It
complete.
depends on you, what you
Not necessarily. Sometimes what counts in the story is what is not there, rather than what is there. Yes, Reva.
So you asked the question on how you would start the biography, and I just wanted to say, I've seen in a lot
Autobiography.
of books that they always start at like an important point in your life, like the turning point, where
Where
you've been heading towards your entire life, and then they work backwards. They talk about how you got there, what decisions, what events, what people have influenced you to get there.
So there's a flashback. There's a term in literature. You have a piece of chalk?
I think it's in the
There's a term in literature, it's medias res. Starting in the middle. Means starting in the middle. So you don't say, I was born on so and so date, then I grew up over there, or here then you talked about this is the school I went to, this is what happened to me, this was my first tragedy in life, this was my first joyous experience, and so on and so forth, and this is how you reached you are sitting here on your 14th birthday, right? You could begin at any point. Where you begin and why you begin there. Now that's a question. What is it that you want to highlight in the story? Okay? Why do you want to begin at a particular point? Okay? Now these are great questions. Today we will not be delving too deep into these, because this is how much time do we have?
Another 1 hour.
Okay, great. So I'm going to ask you we're going to create plots today. So that's the purpose of this whole thing. So, like we said, plots are about sequencing. Right? Now, if I told you, now I'm going to we'll do this never-ending story business. Everybody knows the never-ending story business. Yes. Can we quickly make a circle? Point, then the other person has to continue. You know that, right? It's a very, so anybody can, I'm going to point to you, you begin, and then we can you can give somebody's name and that person has to continue.
Is there a theme that we have to build on?
No, you just randomly, you say, okay, anything. This is just then we are going to lead you to what we are actually going to do. And I'm going to teach you a few tricks, few techniques as to how you can get your mind working in terms of how to create plots. Okay, that's the basic objective. But you will see, to reach that, to launch the rocket, this is the satellite, this is the rocket part of it. Okay, so you are
Mirra.
Huh? Mirra, you begin the story. Any story randomly.
There once was a man walking through the forest.
Carry on, you can't stop. Only when I tell you to stop, then it will.
He was.
No, you can't pause, you got to be fast. Come on, this is the challenge. No stopping, you have to keep on continuing.
He was walking on and on when he heard a weird sound. It was a scream.
Stop. Continue. What's your name?
Mirra. So hearing the scream, he got really terrified because it was a really blood curdling scream, and it was very loud, and it also seemed to be coming from a very close by. He decided not to go towards the noise, because as any sane human being would, they would not go towards the noise, they would run away from the noise. And as he decided, and he kept walking on away from the noise, when he heard the scream again, but this time it was closer to.
Stop. This time it was closer to.
This time it was closer to him. He didn't know what to do. He saw a girl screaming out. She was full of blood. And her clothes were very dirty. She screamed for help
And Divya?
He decided to go and help her, being a person like his mom who always helps people. He goes closer and realizes that it's not a human being but actually an animal he hasn't seen in his life. He tries to help the animal but it's...
Stop. Satvik.
Tries to help the animal, but as he doesn't know anything about the animal, he just decides to give a water as common as any human would do. And he tried luring it to the pond, a nearby pond. The animal wouldn't listen, so he...
Stop.
So the animal wouldn't listen, and so it decided to not. He decided not help it because it was just being too stubborn. So he decided not help it because it was too stubborn, and then he heard back the animal saying, "You will regret this," and then he turned
Okay, stop. Thank you. What were you doing now?
We're building the plot.
You were trying to develop a plot. And it was difficult because it's jumping from one person to another person to another person.
Okay. And everybody has different ideas.
Everybody has different ideas. What we will do today is learn a few cool ways of putting the mind in a state of flow when it with the focus on plot. How do you create plots? Tell me, how do you create plots? What does it take to create plots? What were you doing right now? Yeah?
So we need a base story or like a line. So like for example,
A line, okay.
For example, a teenage girl falls in a hole and lands in a mystical world. Using that, you can create a line.
So if you need the first line or something like that,
Base idea.
okay, well, that's one way. What are the other ways? How can you create a plot? Yeah, Maya?
Suspense to it. So turns
How?
and twists. So let's say she is in a situation and she has to choose, and the situation isn't regular as we see in everyday life.
So a story can be a story if there's a conflict in it. If there is a situation, I mean, you do have literature which is absolutely of everyday life. You have absurdists and all. Somebody was mentioning, were you mentioning, can you have a story, you can have a story without anything happening also? Can you have a story without anything happening?
It won't be a proper nice.
It won't be a proper nice. There's this play by Samuel Beckett. It's called Waiting for Godot. Now, a play is about something that happens on stage, right? It's got to have some movement, some action, some dialogue. Otherwise, who's going to see? Who's going to watch it, right? So, in that, nothing happens. There are these two people who are sitting under a tree. There are two acts, and they keep on saying, let's go. The other guy says, let's go, and they don't move. And this keeps on happening. There's a whole philosophy behind it, and I don't even want to, it's beyond your age, but I am just trying to say that there is a whole milieu, there's a whole kind of literature which is like this, okay? Having said that, what we are going to do today is something fairly simplistic, more on the game side, I mean fun side, I would say, where you actually learn to develop plots. So, traditionally, you don't have to do this, but I'm just sharing graph in a plot, okay? You have the beginning. Let's say the beginning is here, something is happening. Then some action proceeds, and there somewhere you have a climax. Where something reaches a climax. In the between, what can create a climax? You need conflict. Without conflict, can you have a story where there was a good girl and a good boy who went to a good school, and everything that happened there was very good, and they lived happily. Is there a story?
No.
There was a good girl and there was a good boy, but something happens and the good girl becomes bad. She goes to the good school and she starts converting people. Now everybody is listening. You have a story. So in a way, no stories is great because there's no conflict. But the world we live in is full of stories because it is full of conflict. Yes? So you need conflict in a story. And when that conflict, so the bad girl going to the good school, started converting people, suddenly got into a serious trouble when the situation in the school turned murky. Murky, you understand? Dark. Not only was she called by the principal was called and got into trouble because something really serious happened. Now, I'm not going into detail. Climax. Now, it was a question of, I don't want to use things like death and what's going to happen now. If the good girl who really liked the good girl who had become bad, who really liked the good boy, had to get out of the situation, she would have to trap the good boy for no fault of his. Will she do it? Because even though she was bad, she was really fond of her friend. Yeah? Then what happens? You have a conflict.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have a conflict. And something dark has already happened. You have a climax. Now she has to confront the question. Choice. Absolutely. Can you have a conflict where there's no choice? No. Subtly at some point some choice is there. We all have choices in life. We are choosing all of the time. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So then the climax happens. And after the climax, you have to have some kind of a resolution. Where the conflict is resolved and the story ends. This is a plot graph where how you write it is another story. You can begin by the climax, and in the school, let's say, the climax is there. The reporters are outside the school. The TV channels are talking about something murky. How did it happen? The principal doesn't know what to do. She's held responsible, but she knows it is that bad girl. She calls her to the office and she says, I know there was a time when you were good. Flashback. We went to flashback. What happened? That the good became bad. Where and then so okay, you getting it? Yes. So you have to have conflict. Don't take my have to very seriously, because I know so much literature which challenges all these modes also. Okay, but for your thing, because this is the first session, we are gonna just take my have to with a pinch of salt. Okay, so you gotta have a conflict, you gotta have a climax, gotta have a resolution, and then you gotta decide how you want to sequence it. Of course, there are things like the theme. You can make the whole thing into a comedy also, no? Now this thing could be a dark, murky story, and it can be a hilarious comedy. What you can do the same thing into comedy, right?
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Kitna maza aega? You can add so many things. Okay? And then what I have mentioned would be best as a comedy or a tragedy. But then you can have other stories which can be romance, which can be mystery. This can be mystery with comedy. Okay? So these are the various genres, themes you can have. Okay? Themes basically, not genres. But I'm not going, don't fall into the trap of too many words. Okay? Just understand the mode, because we are only focusing on plot today. So you can decide how you want to sequence it. Once you got a story in your head, you can sequence it. That, okay, I want to begin the story with the climax, or you can begin the conflict. I personally don't like stories with flashbacks because I like to see it built up. Then you already know at the end this person is still alive. So even if his life was in danger, but then if you look at it, every year we listen to watch Ramayana plays and Mahabharata plays. I remember again and again the same mythical stories keep coming up. All religion stories, we hear them again and again, and somehow the plot is so interesting, you still listen to it. Okay? Because the conflict is so interesting. It's unending, evergreen conflict, human conflict. You find the same thing happening again and again. Even today, you find girls buried in the earth. I read in the newspaper the other day. They unearthed a girl. Even today. It was not only Sita. You think it was only Janak who picked up Sita? Happens all the time. Happens today. Never mind your digital age. The theme is eternal. Conflict, unfairness, injustice. Yeah, these are the aspects. So, what we will do today is now we will go into, you've understood this, so you have to create a plot bringing these things. We are not going into language, we are not going into characterization, we are not going into the aspects of themes and all that. We are just going to have fun now, okay, with this in the background, right? This much is clear?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Now, how do you, from blank, okay, now, open your notebooks. I will give you exactly 1 minute, or maybe you can have 2, okay, to write the outline of a plot. Time starts now. You're finding it, like if you're on an absolute blankness, is it hard for you? How many of you are finding it a bit of a challenge to come up with out of the blue if you have to come up with a story or a plot? So I am going to now help you, and this is what we really came for. Okay, so I need everybody to take a piece of paper. Can you tear this into two, so that half of it, so everybody should have about 4 small chits. Can you, so okay, 4 small chits. Distribute please. Hurry up. Distribute. So 4 chits.
Maybe 2 more.
Have to take now, yeah. They don't have to be big or whatever. Whoever need. So you got 4 chits? Okay. Now let's have fun. Very quickly. Everybody has a pen or pencil. Come on, hurry up. Hurry up, guys. Arey, it doesn't take so long to tear paper, man. Okay, good. On the first, okay, I am going to put 4 balls here. You people going to want paper? You want to do this? It's okay. Fine. Or you can just watch. Okay. On the first sheet of paper, write a profession. Any profession under the sun.
Any profession.
Yeah. How to create plots. Any profession, right? It can be nurse, housewife, which is not considered a profession, but anyway, camera person, doctor, archaeologist, anything weird works. Spy in one chit, yeah. Okay. Please put it in this bowl. These bowls are very small, yaar. So kuch nahi hoga. Fold it nicely and put it in the one chit, in the first bowl. Here, this is the professions bowl. Put it. Fold it. Arey jaldi karo yaar, you guys are too. Aryan, collect it from everyone. Okay, now in the next chit. Now listen to me before you write it, okay? You have to put a place. Hang on, before you write, when I say a place, suppose you say you can have a generic place also, and you can be specific also. You can say the top of the pyramids in Egypt, for example. You can say, I know, a submarine in the ocean. You don't take up these ideas, yeah?
Would you use the adjectives to describe the place?
No. Absolutely no. Absolutely no.
Just the place.
Just the place. Just the specificity. Absolutely no adjectives. Steer clear of adjectives. We are not even going into language. Huh?
Country.
Yeah, it can be a country. Yeah, it can be a continent. But hang on. The idea is you don't say Asia. It has to be something specific. It cannot be too wide. So if your Asia means what? It can be China, it can be India, it can be what? And what do you mean by it? Don't use continents per se. If you are using a continent, then try to give something specific.
Can you write surface of an alien planet?
Huh?
Can you write like alien?
Yeah, sure. You can.
So we write.
You can say asteroid number 589 on the next solar system. Yeah, you can do.
Something specific.
Yeah, sure. I go there all the time. Done. Hurry up, come on, fast. लिख लिया? Okay. Sai Tejas, will you please take a bowl and collect all the places? Everybody has to give in. Then keep it with you, huh? Keep the bowl with you. Listen to me first before you write. When I say time, it can be past in the future. Okay? You can say, for instance, 1947. Okay? You can say, for instance, 2050. And you can say 5 p.m.
Can it also be something like a timeline, like 1947 to 2050?
No.
Okay,
So,
No.
should we add the time as well? So 2050, 4 p.m. or one of those?
So, no, it's up to you. Definitely the year should be there. Okay. But you can say also time. You can suppose you don't want to specify. Suppose I am writing 1822. Then I am saying dusk.
That's okay.
That's also okay.
But then you can't use only 1820.
No, that becomes, yeah. Let's make it a little more challenging. Yeah.
Would it be a specific time, like in a day, specific time?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it can be. It can be. You can say 3 p.m.
3 p.m. to another p.m.
You can say 3 p.m. in 2580. You can go back in the past. It can be the present also. Think of the present. You're a part of it. Okay? Likho. Done. Okay, Divya, please take a bowl and collect. This is easy, eh? Okay. Remind me, I have to give you a secret before I leave. I have got something. Not secret, but I have something really cool to share. We might forget. I don't know how much time. We may not have time for it. Oh. We need a whole day for this workshop. Arey, jaldi karo yaar. We have half an hour. I know, but a lifetime is not enough. What is half an hour? If you people are feeling too hot or something, you can have the fan. If you can, or open the door or something. Okay, now, hang on. Now what you have to do is a kind of a genre, time, place, genre or theme. Genre is story. So let's just say theme. What you have to do, this is because you can, but it would be okay just to write that. Okay, these are 4 chits, right? Okay, done?
Yes.
Now let's make things more interesting. I am going to give you exactly 60 seconds. First you collect this. Can you please collect this? Keep it with you. Keep it with you, okay? I'm going to give you, hurry up, fast. You guys have to be fast. We don't have time. Okay. I'm going to give you exactly 60 seconds. You have to get up, move around, inside the room, outside of the room. Get hold of any object. 1, 2, 3, start. You've come back in 60 seconds. 50. Anything under the sun.
Can it be inside?
It can be inside. I don't know why they're going out. Arey, jaldi karo. Anything. बहुत अच्छे माया. Very nice. Anything under the sun. Okay, cool. Put your object in front. Yeah, cool. ये जूता इधर रखो बेटा. उल्टा करके. Lovely. Beautiful. What is your name?
My name is Paul.
Paul, huh? I love your object. Okay, now we will create khichdi. All of you have ingredients. Arey, keep your object in front of you. Why are you ashamed of it? हाँ, ठीक है. Okay, wait. Okay, you got an object? ये इसको उल्टा करके रखिए. I put it behind you. अबे not on that thing.
I have a random box of tissues.
ऐसे करो. Okay, now that you have the ingredients, we will create a story. I am going to, because we have limited time and we may not have time to create, I'll have to give it to you as homework or whatever. But homework, classwork, whatever work. Okay, but I'm telling you how to now create the plot. Like you were all finding it, when I said create out of the blank, create a story, you were finding it difficult. Now, you will work in groups, but I will tell you how. Pick out one chit. You got one now. Arey, keep it in front of you. Randomly pick up a chit. Open it. What's the profession?
Military officer.
Speak up.
Military officer.
Military officer. Pick up another chit. Military officer. What's the... Divya, what do you have? Time, what is it?
1966.
1966, 1st June. Okay, who else? Sai Tejas, you have something? Yeah. Moscow. Satvik? Suspense mystery. Perfect. There you are. And what are the objects that you have in front? No. So, okay, you're getting very, very excited. Give me a object. You have the chappal. So, you have to create a story and a plot linking these up. Yeah? You have to work in a group, and there your Jubilion's mind has already started. You get it? So, not that difficult. Now you can create your graph, what kind of a conflict it will be. Okay? What will be the climax? What will be the resolution? And somewhere you got to bring a chappal in. Yeah? This is easier. Because you've got, and look at this is the beauty. Because this is challenging your mind. And it is, so it's both fluid and solid. You have the solid pegs. These are your constants. The variable is the plot you will create. So we have the algebra of creating a plot. Yeah? So you have constants and you have variables. These are the constants, everything else is a variable. Yes? Yeah. Right? So I want you actually what you have to do is you have to divide your cells into groups and do that. Should I show you the really cool thing I have developed right now or afterwards? Because once you get into the groups, you will not be able to.
Did you say it right now?
It's a really cool thing. I invented it. Okay. So if you are going to monetize it or create an app, I want a cut. Okay. So I love doing all this, What do I have in the bag?
It looks like a juice can.
It looks like a gift. What? Just such a. Even a chappal can be a gift. What do I have in the bag? Come on.
Something orange.
Something orange?
Maybe.
What a precise guess,
Really?
What do I have in the bag?
A box.
You people are, I must say, what X-ray visions you guys. What guesswork. Come on, guess.
Tissues.
Nahi, I'm not going to make you cry, Sakit. No. It will help you to create stories.
A rock.
Huh?
A rock.
A rock. So I throw it on your head and suddenly ideas start pouring. Okay, you're not going to be able to guess it.
Oh my god. Whoa.
Wait, so you saw the whole cube and then.
Abey, yaar.
It has top.
So, it has?
Profession, place, time, and the theme, and one part.
Right, Sakit. So what I did, I stuck few things on it. Okay. So you can create 1,000 permutations and combinations, and you can create a story. So this one comes up and says, flower, mystery, soldier, appreciate, 1990, content, identity crisis. So you throw up a dice, and now what has come up, and you keep on switching. So look at the combinations and permutations. And so you have antique store, lawyer, beggar, jubilant, youth, monsoon, circus, surgeon, rejuvenate. You don't have to use all of them. These are actually trigger points. to help you to start a story. You understand? All you gotta do, this was 3, then I got really ambitious, so I got a 4 wala Rubik cube, and then I just stuck tape. You can just use an ordinary like a pen and then rub it off, but I didn't want to do that. Okay, so I have lot more combinations. I have fear, birth, opal, sunrise, meeting, safety pin, okay, aqua, so on and so forth. I use this more for poetry, more this for plot. We are not going into the poetry thing anyway. When you grow up, we'll go into it. When is the right word or if is the right word?
When is the right word?
Do you think everybody grows up?
No. I want to remain safe.
Huh?
I want to remain safe.
Well, beware of what you ask for. Okay, you got the idea?
Yes.
If you get a Rubik cube at home, take a pen and write things and you'll see how many story ideas you have. Right? Yes or no? Simple? Brilliant, yeah? So who's going to monetize it and give me a cut? Yeah, Saket, you and I are partnering, yeah, today. All of you are witnesses, huh? Okay. You get this? I'm going to divide you into groups. And then you have to pick 4 chits. And then you people in groups of, let's say 4, you guys have to create a story. And that story will become a part of your class magazine and your school magazine. Yes? If it is good. And I'll decide that. Yeah? So since I have spent 1.5 hours with you, at least what you do is you write a good story. Okay. So how do we divide you into groups? Let me see. How many are there? No, 5 is too many. 15. So one group will have 3.
Oh, okay.
3.
Groups of 3? No. Groups of 4. So because there are 4 chits and 1 object. Okay. So one group will have 3. Okay. Let me divide. Who are the ones who are born in Jan? January, raise. Feb. Raise your hand. Jan, Feb, March. Nobody is born in March. No Pisces here. April. You 3 are one group. Go. Okay. Just stay. Huh? You know who your group is. Yeah. Okay. Who had idli in the last 1 week? Put your hands down. Who had ice cream in the last 1 week?
Me.
Wait. Now you 1, 2, 3, 4. You're one group. The ice cream group. Okay. And then we had the early born. Okay. And the ice cream group. Okay. The 2 groups are done. Okay. Who likes elephants? If you're already in a group, don't raise your hand. If you're already in a group, okay, 1, 2, 3. That's one more person I need. 1, 2, 3. You join them. 4. So that who's left? You're one group. Okay. Now, can you now hang on? One person from the early borns, get up. Early born, not early grown. You're so proud of you. Haven't grown up. Get up. Take a chit from all of these. Arey yaar, khada ho yaar. Take a chit. One chit from all. Divya, give him a chit. Give him a chit. Where's the 4th one?
He is the 4th.
You have the 4th one. Pick up. So this is yours. Just hang on. Sit with it. Okay. Just keep this with you. The ice cream group. One person get up. Take a chit from all. So you keep yours separately. Yeah? She refused to take the one you picked up. That's okay. Okay. Who are the elephants? Okay, elephants. Let your trunk reach out for the right thing. Okay. Okay.
The leftovers.
Oh! The climax.
Oh, the climax. Oh, yes. The climax.
How can you do this to yourself? Everybody has. Now, this will be you'll get about 15 minutes of discussion time right now. I don't know if we have time, maybe not. Otherwise, you'll do it on your own time. Okay, but you do it whenever you can. Okay. Can the early born people read out the things they have? So everybody knows what they're working with. What's your challenge?
Horror, the genre.
Horror. Okay.
My favorite.
Your favorite.
1966 was June.
Oh.
He is a fan.
Okay, horror, but he's got horror now.
Tangerines of Mexico.
What? Yeah, Mexico. Okay, you got Mexico. Artist. Great. So you got a cool combination. You have to use one of the one object that all of you, any one object that four of you had. Okay, the ice creams. It has to be an object that one of you selected. Whatever objects you had taken. Hello, read up.
Okay. 7 p.m.
Everybody is excited.
7 p.m. 17th April 2022. Thrilling.
Thriller.
Yeah. Top of Tokyo.
What top of what? What? Hello, Shanti. Can you hang on? Can you please read that?
Spell it out.
No. Who wrote that? You wrote that. Please explain what it is.
Jotunheim is the place in God of War. It's where Loki was born.
Okay.
You can ask him later. Okay. Historian. So this is your story.
Yes.
Okay. Who else? The elephants, please.
Sewage cleaner.
Brilliant.
Crime reality thriller.
Right. Oh, that's a lot of choice.
2569, 12 o'clock, Earth's time.
What sewage cleaner 2569 would have? You will have to make it a really high-tech sewage. Yeah, but that's not challenge. Real submarine, high-tech, which has nuclear-powered stuff.
A cave in the mountain.
Cave in the mountains. Cave are done.
You guys, you people, you have my sympathies.
Where is the place?
What's your option?
Cave in the mountains.
No, it's cool. You go in a holiday and there's a cave and then there's sewage.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
The climax.
We got a teacher, a cabin in the woods, mystery suspense, and 6:09 p.m. in 10/5/42. The year 10/5/42.
You'll have to do a lot of research. What was
1052.
Oh my God.
1052? You can omit.
1052.
No, you can omit the last one. That is beyond our imagination. 1052 or listen. One thing I want to say. This is now going to be a work. You got to work together and then not just create your plot, but write your story. I understand that this is an exercise of plot creation. You've got some tips, right? You can work this out on your own, right? Of course, a story, for it to be written, there is characterization, there is the development of the theme, understanding of it, then there is the finesse in terms of language. We don't have time for all that. That we will rely on your natural talents, okay, for that, okay? Yeah, Saket?
Is it going to be an individual story from each of us?
No, you work as a group. Okay. The fun is I don't know, find time during break, lunch, my time, whatever time, take what.
Do we submit it to you or like?
Yeah, I mean, you may not get me because I will not be there, but you share it with your English teachers. When I'm back, I'll take a look at it for sure. I'll definitely take it. How much time do you want?
It's good, it's hard.
You don't want to do any more sessions?
Because they're in two different classes.
Yeah, it's
Groups
different.
are all mixed,
So
don't
can
make
we-
it hard.
So meet whenever you can, during the break, during whatever. I mean, that's the challenge, no? Do you want to work? If you want to work in pairs or individually, that also works. But I think because we are doing plot right now, and the idea is that idea generation. So it is a good idea to work in groups at the first go. So please, you can take more time. That's okay. If you want a month, I can give you a month. So when I come back, you can do that. You can submit your stories. How much time will they take? How much time do you want? Huh? 1 month should be okay for first draft.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm sure you can find time together. All the time you're messing around anyway. So I mean, I don't know, find time yet. I think you can do it. When you want to find time, you can find. Yeah?
Yes.
So this is your work. I will not have time for actual writing and all. I think this has been a, I hope you got some idea in this session.
Yes.
If you people ever come to Pondi, we'll have a whacking exercise on characterization. I mean, yeah. Okay, we'll see. If you write a good story, the next set on characterization, I need to take you people out for that.
Yes.
Can I take one of the 3x3 cubes home?
Certainly not. It's mine. Why will I give you mine?
I wanted to get the what all things.
I'll give you like 120 seconds to look at it.
What?
Yeah, that's it. I did bed after the close.
But I'm monetizing.
Now hang on. Chits are there, right? So these you can take. Okay? So what I suggest is that you keep them in pouches or something, and then you can keep them in one class and put them in another class, and you can keep on. This is the same thing whether you're using the Rubik cube or this or okay. Can we close with a minute of silence?
Yes.